controller works his engines hard, but they are always very proud when he calls them really useful. "I'm going to the scrapyard today," Edward called to Thomas. "What? Already? You're not that old," replied Thomas cheekily. The scrapyard is full of rusty old cars and machinery. They are brought to the yard to be broken into pieces and loaded into trucks. Then Edward pulls them to the steelworks where they are melted down and used again. One day, when Edward arrived in the yard, there was a surprise waiting for him. It was a traction engine. "Hello," said Edward. "You're not broken and rusty. What are you doing here?" "I'm Trevor," said the traction engine sadly. "They're going to break me up next week." "What a shame," said Edward. "My driver says I only need some paint, polish and oil to be as good as new." Trevor went on sadly. "But my master says that I'm old-fashioned." Edward snorted. "People say that I'm old-fashioned, but I don't care. The Fat Controller says that I'm a useful engine." "What work did you do?" he asked. "My master used to send us from farm to farm. We threshed corn, hauled logs, and did lots of other work. We made friends at all the farms. The children loved to see us." Trevor shut his eyes, remembering. "Oh yes," he said, "I like children." Edward set off for the station. "Broken up, what a shame! Broken up, what a shame!" he clanked as he went back to work. "I must help Trevor, I must." He thought of all his friends who liked engines, but strangely none of them would have room for a traction engine at home. "It's a shame! It's a shame!" Edward hissed. "Peep, peep!" he whistled. "Why didn't I think of him before?" There, on the platform, was the very person. "Hello, Edward. You look upset," said the man. "What's the matter, Charlie?" he asked the driver. "There's a traction engine in the scrapyard, Vicar. He'll be broken up next week. Jem Cole says that he never drove a better engine." "Do save him, sir. He saws wood and gives children rides," said Edward. "We'll see," replied the vicar. Jem Cole came on Saturday. "The Reverend is coming to see you, Trevor. Maybe he'll buy you." "Do you think he will?" asked Trevor hopefully. "He will when I've lit your fire and cleaned you up," said Jem. The vicar and his two boys arrived that evening. Trevor hadn't felt so happy for months. He chuffed happily about the yard. "Show your paces, Trevor," said the vicar. Later, the vicar came out of the office smiling. "I've got him cheap, Jem, cheap." Jem was very pleased and ran to tell Trevor the good news. "Do you hear that, Trevor?" cried Jem. "The Reverend saved you, and you live at the vicarage now." "Peep, peep," whistled Trevor happily. Now Trevor's home is in the vicarage orchard, and he sees Edward every day. His paint is spotless, and his brass shines like gold. Trevor likes his work, but his happiest day is the church fete. Then, with a wooden seat bolted to his bunker, he chuffers round the orchard giving rides to children. Long afterwards, you will see him shut his eyes, remembering. "I like children," he whispers happily.